Hey everybody, welcome back to Culz Book Reviews. Today we are talking about 8 Days Till Sunrise, a true story of survival, rebirth, and discovering my purpose in life by Jason Dennen. Now this one actually has kind of a interesting backstory on how I actually found this book. I had ventured downtown to Colorado Boulevard and I was filming the Rocky Mountain Tower for one of our tallest building shorts. And there's a local Barnes & Noble next door, and I was like, hey, they got a lot of good Criterion. Let's go see what they got today. So I went in, and I saw a setup for a meet the author, book signing type of deal with Jason. And so I went over and talked to him and heard his story. And I was like, wow, that is such a fascinating story of survival. I mean, when we get to it, we'll talk about it more, but it's just crazy what he went through and how he was able to survive it. And yeah, so I picked up the book and here we are right now. So let's take a look at the book. Alright, so here you can see the cover features a runner running up the hill, running towards the sun, which does match the title, 8 Days Till Sunrise, so he's running towards the sun. And then again you see a true story of survival, rebirth, and discovering my purpose of life by Jason Dennen. On the side, you see 8 Days Till Sunrise, and then the author's name. And on the back, same thing. Just a little bit about the book. We do get a picture of Jason there. And for anyone that might need it, here's the ISBN. Alright, so this book clocks in at 115 pages. And honestly, if you can just sit down and read it, you'll get it done relatively fast. It is pretty gripping, like I said. You do see in the middle part you get some pictures here, but for the most part just words outside of that. And then of course at the front, like I said, it was a book signing and I was able to get that one signed. For anyone who doesn't know Jason's story, he was a skydiver and he survived a pretty terrible accident. And so the book, kind of tells the story before what was happening in his life. He had got promotion. And then it talks about skydiving. I mean, just that day he had skydived 2 times before the accident itself, which was a kind of freak gust of wind, pretty low to the ground, about 150 feet. And so at that point he didn't have time to correct it. And I mean, he could have corrected it, but he would have died for sure. Or he had to just kind of go with it, which led him into hitting a fence and then hitting a building. And he hit the building with such force it left a dent, one of those airplane hangars. And his heart jumped from one side to the other. Broken bones galore. He spent time in a hospital. He was in a coma for 8 days. They had to perform life-saving surgery. And I'll say the part that stuck with me the most was his talk about nightmares in a coma. I think sometimes people, when you talk coma, you kind of think they don't know what's going on. But like Jason said, he knew what was going on. It was like one of those nightmares, but usually you can wake up, but you couldn't this time. And it was really haunting. I mean, his nightmares were almost like trying to get him to just give up and just let go. Pass away, I suppose, is another way you can say it. And then the book follows his trek through, rehab, and obviously that's extremely painful. He had so many broken bones, be it in arms, legs, ribs. He had a concussion. And he said it was hard at times, but he had a kind of mental switch. His mom had mentioned something about some of the patients have a do not resuscitate sign up on the door, and he didn't. And so he was, thankful for that. And then at the same time, he felt bad for the doctors. Like, how hard could that be, going to work every day and knowing you're putting all your work and sweat and blood and tears into this person trying to help them, and it might not. And that's got to be pretty tough for the doctors. And so he had a mental shift, and he's used it to motivate him forward, motivate him through the rehab. He did set a goal to run a triathlon. He said, I think it was 2 years, and he ended up doing it in 1 year. On the year anniversary of the accident, actually. So yeah, it's a book I recommend. It's really pretty well written. It's written obviously from his point of view, and so I think that makes it easy to read. Like I said, it's also not too long, so if you just looking for something to read maybe on a weekend and looking for a true story that will inspire you, I believe at least. I think it's inspiring, even if you didn't have this crazy life-altering accident. I think there's a lot of stuff in here you can still use to be inspired. And now I know you may be asking, well, why aren't you going into more depth? Well, we will be. See, this is just a little bitty review. But come Friday, there's actually going to be a brand new Culz interviews with Jason. So you'll get almost 2 hours worth of extra video. So if you want to hear more about him, join us on Friday as well. Check out that interview. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic one. And but before then, yeah, go pick this up, try to read it. Like I said, it's not hard read. I think it's pretty inspiring because it's just crazy the amount of stuff he had to go through, you know, and some of the stuff that he had happen to him during the crash and the injuries that were pretty much, if you get him, you usually die. So he was pretty lucky on that point, and yeah, I recommend it. Give it a solid 8 out of 10. You know, I say, yeah, go pick it up, go read it. We'll have some of the links where you can find it. And if you're in Colorado, yeah, keep an eye out your local Barnes & Nobles. You might just find Jason, can talk to him. When I met him, he did actually have the suit that he had jumped in on display. So you can see that maybe sometimes as well. But until next time, for more Culz book reviews, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, have you read Jason's book? And is there one you think we should review on the channel? Tell us in the comments below.